For assignment 1, the research problem focused on identifying a gap in existing knowledge related to archaeology awareness among youth. Although archaeology plays an important role in understanding human history, knowledge of these fields remains limited. Previous studies have shown that archaeology is often misunderstood, with many people perceiving it as treasure hunting, fossil collecting, or non-scientific activities. Furthermore, there is a lack of research on second-year university students that already have academic exposure about this field, but their archaeology knowledge remains unexplored. So this study aims to address this gap by examining the awareness, knowledge and misconception of archaeology among second-year undergraduate students at UNIMAS.
For the part objective, this study has three main objectives. First, to explore how much yet to UNIMAS students know and aware archaeology, especially Sarawak archaeological heritage. We want to see what they know and what they are missing. Second, identify misconceptions students may have about archaeology as a scientific discipline. This helps us which areas need clarification. Third, to examine the factors and awareness such as their learning experiences or access to information about archaeology.
This study used a mixed method approach, which is qualitative and quantitative data collection methods that involved 144 second-year undergraduate students at UNIMAS from anthropology and sociology program. Data were collected through an online Google Form survey that included multiple choice and Likert scale questions, as well as a few open-ended questions to capture students' views.
For sampling, we use two methods. The quantitative part, we apply convenience sampling, where second-year students voluntarily answer the Google form. This made it easier and faster to collect the responses. For the qualitative part, we use purposive sampling, selecting students who have interest or knowledge about archaeology, so we could get more detailed insight. For data analysis, the quantitative data were analyzed using descriptive statistics such as frequencies, percentages, and mean scores to see overall level of awareness. But the qualitative data were analyzed using thematic analysis, where common terms and patterns from the open-ended responses were identified. And lastly, in terms of ethics, participation was voluntary, informed consent was obtained, and confidentiality was maintained. Participants could also withdraw at any time. As for limitations, the study has limited representativeness and a small qualitative sample, but using a mixed methods approach helps change the finding.
Next, I will explain the significance of our studies. First point is academic significance. This study contributes to the field of anthropology and sociology by examining the level of awareness among second-year students in UNIMAS. Second point is theoretical significance. This research helps understand how aware are youth of archaeology, which can help avoid misconception and improve their understanding of the past. Practical significance. The finding of this study can help support museum outreach program and event by providing insight on how archaeological awareness can be promoted among students. In societal significance, this study is important to the Sarawak community as it can raise awareness and appreciation for archaeological heritage, which is important for them to strengthen their local identity for future generations.
This study examines the level of awareness of UNIMA students regarding archaeology. It aims to assess students' awareness and understanding, identify misconceptions, and examine students' exposure factors. The study used a questionnaire and descriptive analysis. The result of the study showed that the level of awareness of students is high, and this helps them understand the importance of archaeology and culture heritage. This study also supports students' understanding and ensures that the conservation of culture heritage can be maintained for the culture generation.
For assignment 2, our research is titled Assessing the Awareness of Archaeology Among Youth in Sarawak, a case study of second-year undergraduate student at UNIMAS. Archaeology is more than just studying the ancient past. It is a scientific discipline that helps us understand human history, culture, and civilization through materials, remains, and artifacts. Thus, this study aims to examine the level of awareness and understanding of archaeology among second-year undergraduate students at UNIMAS. The research was conducted using a questionnaire where students answer questions related to archaeological knowledge and perception. The findings of this study help highlight how youths view archaeology and emphasize the importance of increasing awareness and education about this field in Sarawak.
Firstly, archaeology and heritage. According to Hansen 2004, archaeology refers to past study of human societies and historical sites. It is important for us to understand what archaeology because it helps preserve cultural heritage and historical understanding. Secondly is important of awareness. Awareness is important to prevent cultural heritage from being neglected or lost, which is through awareness students can gain knowledge and understanding to prevent misconception about archaeology and history. Thirdly, role of education. Previous studies have shown that teaching archaeology in school can encourage active learning and critical thinking. This shows that role of education plays an important part in influencing their awareness in archaeology. Next, youth involvement. According to Hansen 2004, youth involvement is essential in benefiting student future career in heritage and tourism. Next, research gap. Although there are previous studies that have examined archaeological awareness, there are still limited studies regarding student awareness in archaeology in Sarawak, especially students in UNIMAS. This studies aims to address the gap by assessing the level of archaeological awareness among second-year students.
For methodology, in research design, we wanted to see how much students know about archaeology. We look at the numbers but also ask them to share their thoughts in their own words. For data analysis, we use an online Google form. Some questions were multiple choice or rating scales and some were open-ended, so students could write what they think. Next, for sampling, for the number parts, anyone could join. For the open-ended question, we pick students who seems interested in archaeology to get better insight. For the data analysis, we check the number using frequencies and percentages. For the open-ended answer, we look for common terms to understand their ideas. For ethics and limitations, students know what study was about, joining was voluntary, and info was kept private. But a few things to note that small number of open-ended responses and not everyone has internet. For data cleaning, we clean the data first, such as fixed age entries, group ethnicities, and organized state into Peninsula Sabah Sarawak, so it was easy to analyze.
As parts of finding and discussion, we have broken it down into 3 focuses objectives. The first finding is about to explore the level of awareness of archaeologists among second-year undergraduate students. The study found 100% of level of awareness of the term of archaeologist. This is due to the Malaysian Sejarah curriculum ensure that all students have basic understanding before go to university. The second finding, we have identified common misconceptions about archaeology as a scientific one. From the result, it shows 83% correctly said it is a history, but others still misconception it as fossils and dinosaurs. The third finding, we examine factors that determine the students' exposure of archaeological heritage. From the diagram, we can see formal education is the main factors for exposure for archaeological. Contrast, external factors like family and friends, museum, and social media play a much smaller role into exposure the archaeological.
For the part conclusion, overall this study shows the level of awareness of UNIMAS students about archaeology in Sarawak, where the level of awareness is high. The findings of the study have successfully answered several objectives and have gained importance, namely helping students learn history and increase understanding of culture heritage. In addition, it is also important in appreciating and preserving the traditions of all society, maintaining national identity and instilling a spirit of patriotism among the younger generation. Despite the high level of studying and judgment, ongoing awareness remains important. Digital platforms, exhibitions, and educational programs can be used to maintain and increase students' knowledge and understandings of culture.